G'day everyone. Welcome back to another week of Online Spark. We're in Hebrews again. This week we're looking at covenants, that is agreements between God and people in particular, and it's all about how Jesus makes things better. So before we get to the talk, we're going to do a bit more cooking with a magic microwave, and we're going to make something better. I have here a toolbox, and in the toolbox I have something special. I have some biscuits, some lovely biscuits, and I think we could make them a little bit better. You know what? I love my biscuits with chopped chips in them, and we have a very special new button on our microwave today that can make that happen. Have a look over here. Our microwave has a new switch. It flicks between cook and uncook. Let me just show you how it works. I have here a can of bitumen paint. This is what they make roads out of. And if we put it in the microwave, it's on cook mode at the moment. See, we just put it in there, and we'll just give it 5 seconds. There we go. Wait for it. Almost finished. Stops. Now if we put it on uncooked mode, notice we do it for another 5 seconds. Oh, reset. 5 seconds. You'll notice that the colour of the microwave changes and it goes in a different direction. Now, if we pull this bitumen paint out of the microwave and just have a quick look on the inside, we'll see. Now it should have cooked it for 5 seconds and then uncooked it for 5 seconds. Oh, there we go. This hasn't been open in a while. And we'll have a look at what it's like. There we go. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, nice and sticky. Just what we want. So I think that's going to be hard to get on my hands. That's what we want. Excuse me, I just got to get a rag. Alright, so if we put our biscuits in the microwave and uncook them, we should be able to then recook them with the chopped chips added. So let's do that. We'll put our microwave on cook mode. We'll get the plate out of the microwave. I don't know why more people don't use the plate from the microwave for general serving. It's a good plate. We'll just put it in there. Rattle it into place. Come on. There we go. And we'll cook that for a little while. While that's happening, let's hear the talk with Hannah.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to another week of Spark. Over the past few weeks, we've heard about how Jesus is better than a number of different things, including angels, Moses, and rest. And last week with Becky, we learnt that Jesus is a better high priest. Now today we are looking at Hebrews chapter 8, in which Jesus becomes the high priest of a new and better covenant. So our big idea for today is Jesus offers a better covenant. Now covenant is a bit of a tricky word. So for those of you who don't know what a covenant is, it is an agreement or a promise. I'm going to read our passage for today, which is Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6 to 13. Now Christ has been appointed to serve as a priest in a much better way, and he has given us much assurance of a better agreement. If the first agreement with God had been all right, there would not have been any need for another one. But the Lord found fault with it and said, I tell you, the time will come when I will make a new agreement with the people of Israel and the people of Judah. It won't be like the agreement that I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt. They broke their agreement with me, and I stopped caring about them. But now I tell the people of Israel, this is my new agreement. The time will come when I, the Lord, will write my laws on their minds and hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Not one of them will have to teach another to know me, their Lord. All of them will know me, no matter who they are. I will treat them with kindness, even though they are wicked. I will forget their sins. When the Lord talks about a new agreement, he means that the first one is out of date, and anything that is old and useless will soon disappear. Now our passage today shows us that Jesus offers a better covenant. Remember that means an agreement. But to appreciate why this new covenant is better, we have to know and understand some things about the old covenant. Now, the Old Covenant was made between God and the people of Israel when he led them out of slavery in Egypt. Within this covenant, the people of Israel were called to follow the Ten Commandments, along with a large number of other laws surrounding what they were to eat, drink, and do. In verse 9 of our passage for today, we see that the people of Israel had broken the old covenant with God. It says, "They broke their agreement with me, and I stopped caring about them." The people of Israel could not keep all the laws that had been made, and continued to fall into sin. This meant breaking the covenant. In order to deal with sin during this time, according to the Old Covenant, a blood sacrifice was needed. So the people of Israel began sacrificing animals in order to seek forgiveness and cleansing from their sin. Now the new agreement Jesus offers is better because it is about God and how He works in us, not about what we do. Verse 10 says, "The time has come where I will write my laws on their minds and hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people." Through this we see that the covenant is about what God does for us. He is the one that changes our hearts and our minds. God is working in us. It is not about having to complete works ourselves. Now, the new agreement Jesus offers us is also better because it is based on the goodness and grace of God. As we just looked at, the old agreement was destroyed because the people of Israel had broken the agreement they had made with God, and they had continued to fall into sin. This didn't change even in the new covenant. As sinful humans, the people of Israel continued to break even the new covenant that had been made, and we do too. We continue to turn our backs on God and go our own way. We deserve His judgment. But in verse 12 we see God's mercy and kindness. The Lord says, "I will treat them with kindness even though they are wicked. I will forget their sins." Despite the ways in which we fail God and the times we turn our back on Him, in His grace He chooses to forgive us, even when we are really undeserving. We see that the old agreement made nothing perfect, and the agreement itself was not perfect either. Verse 7 and 8 say, "If the first agreement with God had been all right, there would not have been a need for a new one. But God found fault with it." That fault was because of humans and their sinful ways, which left the covenant broken and meant that a new one needed to be made. But thankfully, Jesus offers a better covenant that focuses on what God does for us in showing His mercy and grace to us, and eventually in sending His Son Jesus to die on the cross. We'll hear a little bit more about that next week, so make sure you come back again to hear more from the book of Hebrews. Bye guys.
Thanks, Hannah. Now, those of you who are listening well, I bet you can predict what's going to be on the big idea machine. Here we go. We're going to pull our string over here and watch our big idea come up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Jesus offers a better covenant. That is a better agreement between people and God. If you want to know God, Jesus is the place to get to know God. Now, while we've been listening to Hannah, our uncooking microwave has finished. So let's have a look and see how it went. There we go. So it's uncooked our biscuits. And we've got eggs and butter and the sugar and flour in there. So to add chopped chips, all we need to do is I have a little bag of chopped chips over here. Just take that off so you can see it. Nice dark chopped chips, how we like it. So we'll just put our butter and our egg back in. Put our chopped chips in as well. Make sure we flick it over cook mode. There we go. We'll put that on for a little while. While we're cooking our chopped chip biscuits, it's time for Chill and Challenge. We have, for chill time, some cooking with Jeremy, and I have a little challenge for you in a moment too. See you in a second.
Hi guys, it's Jeremy from Spark, and in this week's craft we're going to be making some sherbet. So what you need are some jelly crystals, some icing sugar, some bicarb soda, and some citric acid. Now these things you can all get at Coles or IGA or something like that, and you can just ask your parents to get them for you. So first thing, we need to add 2 teaspoons of jelly crystals. 1 teaspoon of icing sugar, half a teaspoon of bicarb soda, and another half teaspoon of citric acid. So now what you want to do is just to mix them all together in a small bowl like this. And that's it, you're done. Enjoy. Here's the recipe for you. See you next week, guys. Done.
Time for a challenge. Now I want you to observe this walk here. I can even slow it down into slow-mo a little bit, and you'll observe it's a pretty normal walk. The left leg goes forward, at the same time the right arm goes forward. So the arm and the leg are opposite sides, and that's a pretty normal walk. Now here's the challenge. See if you can walk with your left arm and your left leg going forward at the same time, and your right arm and your right leg going forward at the same time. It might look a little bit like this. Well, we're almost at the end of Spark for this week. Perhaps in the coming week you'd like to make some sherbet, or you'd like to try a silly walk. Maybe you'd like to cook something in a magic microwave. Let's see how it went. Remember we had our biscuits that we wanted to uncook. I'm going to add chopped chip soup, and we'll see how they've gone. Here we are. Look at that. Looks pretty good.
Here we are.
See you next week. Remember, Jesus is better.